Hey, what's up, YouTube family? Currently, it's the summertime, which means that I know a lot of you are planning vacations, probably on a tropical island with your friends and your family, or if you're somebody like myself who has a little bit of extra time on their hands, you're trying to learn something new. Oftentimes, one of the things that I get asked the most is, what things should I start learning in order to become a better designer? But I think one of the better questions to answer would be, what things should I start unlearning? Because in this day and age, there are certain habits that we've picked up in our personal lives that carry over into our jobs, and that can be detrimental, especially when we're trying to create work that inspires other people. So in this video, I'll talk about 3 of my top suggested bad habits that you can stop doing in order to become a better designer in one day. The first bad habit that you should stop doing is stop comparing yourself to other designers. And subconsciously, this still happens to me today, especially when I use social media, which is why I've tried to use it less as a source of inspiration. Because when I would look at another designer's portfolio, I would think to myself, how could I ever get to this guy's level? Comparing yourself to other designers is kind of like going to the gym and you see a person on the bench press lifting 300 pounds. They drop the weight on the bench, slam their hands on their chest, and they get everybody's attention. But you don't need to be that person yet. Sometimes looking at the person on the bench can intimidate us so much to the point where we don't even get started. And what we have to understand is that the person benching 300 pounds probably can't even run 3 miles. My point is, everyone has strengths and weaknesses. We just need to take the time to understand what those strengths are, because when we figure it out, then we can practice those things daily and feel exactly like the guy who slams his chest and shocks everyone in the room. Now, this one's tough, but the second bad habit that you should stop doing in order to become a better designer in one day is stop taking everything personal. A large part of our jobs is getting our work critiqued and criticized, whether that's by stakeholders, clients, or if you're lucky, sometimes the world. But I think that it's easy to fall into the trap that your character, your personal character, is getting judged. But oftentimes this isn't the case. There was a time when I got asked to work on a logo for a music management company, and I remember it was a project that I really wanted to work on, and so I had completed 30 to 40 different sketched out ideas of what the logo could look like. I did a few high fidelity mock-ups, and I remember presenting it to the client, and she told me that none of the logos were creative enough. And I remember feeling over the phone like I wasn't creative enough, and I had all these doubts, thinking to myself, should I even pursue becoming a designer because my work's not creative enough? But the reality of the situation was that it wasn't that I wasn't creative enough, it's that I didn't understand what her interpretation of creative was. So I had to shift my thinking to learn exactly how she interpreted what creative was and things that she didn't like. I had to understand what her tastes were. So the next time someone critiques or judges your work and you feel that sense of anxiousness creep in, just take a step back and be objective and realize that it's your work that's being judged, and maybe they are telling you the truth. Maybe there's something that you can improve on. But either way, it's a learning experience. The third and final habit that you need to stop doing today is stop working based off of assumptions. This is something that took me a lot of times of getting burned before I actually understood it, because I used to be so eager to jump into Sketch or Illustrator without really understanding what the goals or expectations of the project were. The only thing that led to was me feeling like the person was difficult to work with, and then I'd feel bitter because I'd spend a bunch of working hours, pouring my soul into a project. But what I learned was that our job is very similar to being therapists, except we're trying to draw out of the person what their tastes and preferences are. Always, always, always try to understand what the goals and motivations are for the projects that you work on. Another source of inspiration that you can glean from is the people that you're working with. What do they do in their spare time? What are the sorts of things that inspire them? Get to know them as people. So there you have it. Those are my 3 top suggestions of habits that you should stop breaking today in order to become a better designer. If there's any other bad habits that you guys think designers should stop doing, please comment below. I would love to learn about them, and I'm sure other designers would love to learn about them too. I'm finding personally that when there's certain things that I try to eliminate from my life, certain habits, that overall I'm becoming a happier person, and it just makes my job a lot easier and more enjoyable. Alright, peace and love, y'all. See y'all next time.